On March 14th, open-source satellite trackers detected something running at high speed through the South China Sea. It wasn't a nuclear supercarrier, and it wasn't a stealth destroyer. It was the USS Tripoli, an amphibious assault ship that the Pentagon's harshest critics had completely written off as a multi-billion-dollar mistake. But right now, on her massive flight deck sit 20 F-35B Lightning II stealth fighters, and deep inside her steel hull, 2,500 United States Marines. Destination: the Strait of Hormuz. Here is why this deployment changes the entire war. The United States Navy has already broken 90% of Iran's military equation. Two massive carrier strike groups, the Lincoln and the Ford, hold the perimeter from opposite oceans. The coastal missile factories Aruba and 60 Iranian warships sit at the bottom of the Gulf. From the outside, the American naval siege looks absolute. But the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Over 150 massive oil tankers sit anchored just outside the strait, bleeding millions of dollars a day, because the remaining 10% of Iran's capable smart mines and hidden coastal launchers is still there. You do not need to sink an entire naval convoy to close a strait. You only need to sink one tanker. One burning hole blocking that 6 nautical mile corridor, and no maritime insurer on Earth will write the next policy. The most powerful navy in human history solved 90% of the problem. But global commerce requires 100% safety. And the distance between 90 and 100 is a supertanker on fire. The supercarriers absolutely refuse to enter the Persian Gulf. That shallow, constrained bathtub is an absolute killbox. 100,000 tons of irreplaceable American steel and 5,000 sailors are simply too valuable to risk inside it. So, why is the Pentagon sending a ship that analysts dismissed as a mistake to solve a problem that two superiors could not? To answer that, we need to look at the blueprint. When the Navy designed the Tripoli, they made a radical decision. They completely removed the well deck. The well deck is the massive chamber at the bottom of an amphibious ship used to launch heavy hovercraft and landing boats. It is the very identity of an amphibious warship. Designing an amphib without a well deck is like building a heavy cargo truck and completely forgetting the bed. The defense press universally agreed. The ship was a massive mistake, but the United States Navy understood something the armchair critics did not. Removing the well deck unlocked a doubled hangar bay, vastly expanded maintenance facilities, and massive jet fuel storage. The Tripoli did not lose the ability to put Marines ashore. It fundamentally changed how it puts Marines ashore, moving them from the slow surface of the sea directly into the sky. And it gained the unprecedented ability to operate 20 F-35B stealth fighters simultaneously. That is nearly half the strike capability of a $30 million supercarrier. Airwing, operating from a ship that costs only $3.5 billion. The ship they called a terrible mistake turned out to be the most dangerous pocket carrier ever put afloat. And because she only displaces 44,000 tons, she is expendable enough to get dangerously close to her. Losing the Tripoli would be painful, but losing a nuclear supercarrier would be globally catastrophic. The Tripoli is powerful enough to change the combat equation, and she brings something no aircraft carrier possesses: 2,500 United States Marines. Nobody outside of CENTCOM knows exactly how the Tripoli will be employed, but the ship introduces 3 distinct lethal capabilities that simply did not exist at Hormuz before she sailed. First, persistent air cover. Because the supercarriers operate in the open ocean outside the Gulf, an F-35 has to fly for over an hour just to reach the shipping lanes. Time on station is measured in mere minutes before the jets burn through their fuel and have to turn back. That gap is exactly where Iranian drones find and strike commercial tankers. The Tripoli solves this with sheer physics. By operating just 100 miles from the strait, the transit time for her F-35BS shrinks to 13 minutes. Time on station triples. The gap between air patrols shrinks from hours to minutes. Those minutes are the difference between an Iranian drone finding a tanker or an American F-35 finding the drone first. Second, island raids. Iran controls 3 heavily fortified islands, right in the middle of the shipping corridor. They are essentially unsinkable aircraft carriers lined with anti-ship missile batteries. A conventional amphibious ship would have to push slow-landing craft through heavily mined waters to assault them. The Tripoli does not. The Marines insert by vertical envelopment, MV-21, Ospreys, and CH-53 heavy helicopters fly right over the deadly minefields instead of sailing through them. They drop in, neutralize the missile launchers, and withdraw to the ship before the Iranian garrison can even mount a Third, expeditionary advanced base operations. How do you control a 6 nautical mile corridor of water without putting a vulnerable warship inside it? You fly Marines ashore to uninhabited coastlines or Allied territory. They rapidly establish temporary, hidden bases equipped with HIMARS rocket launchers and forward refueling points. They create a lethal, overlapping kill zone spanning the entire width of the strait directly from the dirt. HIMARS firing anti-ship missiles from the shore can engage any fast attack craft or minlayer that enters the corridor. You no longer need multi-billion-dollar warships inside the strait to control the strait. Marines on shore create a firepower bubble that is cheaper, are there to find, and physically impossible to sink. Stack these 3 capabilities together, and something emerges that Iran has never faced and has no playbook to counter. For 40 years, Iran only prepared to counter threats coming from the surface of the sea, mines below the waterline, shore batteries pointing at the horizon, fast attack craft swarming in the shallows. They solved that equation perfectly, but it was the wrong variable. When the Tripoli arrives, the equation gains a threat from the ground and the sky simultaneously. Marines can suddenly appear on any island, any coastline, any Allied position along the strait. Iran built coastal defenses against ships entering the water. They built air defenses against bombers flying far above. And they built beach defenses to stop slow landing craft. But the Tripoli has no landing craft. Its Marines drop from the sky onto positions that were never supposed to be contested. Defend the islands, and the coastline lies open. Fortify the coastline, and the islands fall. The equation has no correct answer for Tehran anymore. The Navy did not solve the last 10% of this war by sending more ships into the kill box. They sent a force designed to operate where ships cannot. The nuclear carriers laid the siege from the outside. The Marines will solve it from the inside. And the amphibious ship they boldly called a mistake turned out to be the exact answer nobody saw coming.